Hello, my name is Bruce Mose. I graduated from Tech High School in 1962. As a member of the Tech High School Alumni Association Board of Directors, I assembled a team of fellow alumni to plan and organize the 2017 Tech Centennial Celebration. The history of Tech High School is an important and relevant part of the history of St. Cloud. The school's impact and influence over the past century upon the city has not only been on its educators, alumni, and citizens, but also upon the greater St. Cloud community. The 2017 Tech Centennial Celebration spotlights and illuminates 100 years of history, tradition, and legacy. The past, present, and future have come together on the storied campus of Tech High School, the pleasant pathways of Lake George, the tall banks of the Mississippi River, the memorable parks and schools of our core neighborhood, and the vibrant commercial enterprises of our city. Alumni, students, and friends are brought together during the 2017 Tech Centennial Celebration to reminisce about the past, share in the present, and plan for the future. This centennial documentary, Tech High School, A Tradition of Excellence, 1917 to 2017, is designed to capture the stories and the spirit of Tech High School. We hope it will be the source of information, inspiration, and instruction for the next 100 years of Tech High School. Thank you.
Technical High School opened its doors in 1917, just as the United States was about to enter into World War I. But the classic three-story red brick and granite building dates its roots back long before the turn of the century. The first school district created in St. Cloud roughly mirrored the Lower Town settlement, from Lake George to the Mississippi River and south to the Beaver Islands. As the school district area grew, it eventually became known as School District number 742. The first school opened in Lower Town was a one-room school called Everett School, located in the area that is now Barden Park near St. Cloud State University. At that time, a progressive newspaper woman, Jane Gray Swisshelm, was an early advocate for education and offered high school courses including Latin, Greek, music, and watercolor. During the Civil War, St. Cloud attended a variety of schools, both public and parochial. At this time, the Reverend L.G. Campbell established a graded system of schools, and the first school having that was St. Cloud Academy. However, as the population grew, the need for another school was apparent, and Union School was built just south of the present-day City Hall and opened in 1870. Quite modern for its day because it had lamps for lighting at night, and it had desks, which made the students very happy because they had been sitting on benches. Oh, and by the way, it had a furnace also. However, by 1912, enrollment had passed 200 students, and a need for another school was necessary, and the site selected was just west of Lake George, and there were many questions about going that far west out into St. Augusta. Many people wanted just an addition to Union School. However, in 1916, the school was begun, and the state-of-the-art facility boasted 41 rooms, an auditorium, gymnasium, and a swimming pool. The new school was named Technical High School as a nod to the modern and practical curriculum. At that time, another strong female voice came into being. It was Elizabeth Clark. She was a strong proponent for public schools, and she moved 10 faculty members and 254 students to the new Technical High School building. She also had a curriculum that included music, drama, and art. By 1938, the school district added an addition to the building, and they purchased part of the McConnell farm, and that became the site for the new athletic field, Clark Field as it was known. Following World War I at Technical High School, the first homecoming was held in November 11th, 1919, and to welcome the returning veterans. We had a large group of immigrants that came in, and citizenship classes were established to help the people learn their English and receive citizenship papers. Large extracurricular activities gained momentum, and the first volume of Tech, the student newspaper, was established January of 1918, and the Tech chapter of the National Honor Society formed in 1926. Finally, the Great Depression took its toll, but students were given 25 cents per hour if they worked, and in addition to that, they were given free milk and hot lunches with the help of the National Youth Association. As the country recovered from the Great Depression, turmoil was journeying abroad, and soon another world war left its imprint on Tech.
World War II left its mark on Technical High School, and the rest of the nation as well. Classes remained in session, however. Many of the teachers left for military service, and those who stayed here were engaged in Red Cross classes or donations, bond sales, distribution of books, etc. The number of boys enrolled at Tech declined because many of them went into the service to fight for the United States against the Axis powers of Germany, Japan, and Italy. By the mid-1940s, the war was ending, and the government programs were established to assist the economy and introduced innovation and technology that later changed education in remarkable ways. Historically, getting to school was a problem. Originally, they came by foot or by horse and buggy or riding horses. But then later, buses and trolleys and cars became a mode of transportation. Everyone wanted to drive a car by the 1950s. In 1954, driver's training for all students was inaugurated at Tech. There was a class that students had to take, and by 1957, the class graduating had to show that they had 6 weeks of classroom and 15 hours behind the wheel in order to graduate. The St. Cloud community always was very involved in the business community in St. Cloud. As an example, the Chamber of Commerce in about 1952 started Business Education Day, in which teachers would visit the businesses downtown and other organizations such as the Reformatory, which it was called at that time, and learned about the business community. But then Tech reciprocated by also having Education Business Day, which they invited the businesses and other institutions to come to Tech and visit the classes to find out what was going on in education. In every era, we find champions of education, and vocational classes were really very important at Tech about this time. A 1944 yearbook boasts that Tech's industrial program was among the largest in the nation, but it never really took off until the H.B. Goff building was built, and that was adjacent to Tech High School. Mr. Goff, H.B. Goff, was the superintendent of schools from 1940 to 1958. Some of the teachers were very involved in leadership at this time because not only athletics, but also the arts and music were very important. Chorus, glee club, band, orchestra, speech, debate, drama, these were all offered at school. But of course, the athletic department and athletes were the source of the Tech Tiger pride. To name just a few of the staff members who were some of the leaders in these areas, Myrtle Bacon, who taught English, speech, and drama at high school. Her speech teams in drama classes often won state and national attention. In fact, one of her students, Byron Barr, was very important in the drama, and he finally became, or eventually became, the TV, stage, and film actor Gig Young. There was Byron Barr and then Gig Young. Vern Morrison served as Tech's athletic director from 1947 to 1969. As Tech's football coach, he had a wonderful team. He had 32 consecutive wins, and his 1940 team was unscored upon and also undefeated. He was selected as a Minnesota Hall of Fame in football coaching. Gertrude Gove was a history teacher who wrote and published a book in 1948 titled A Century of Progress, A History of the St. Cloud, Minnesota Schools from 1858 to 1958. A variety of educators brought life to Tech High School. 3 stories of brick and mortar will stand or fall. But the stories built by students, teachers, friends, athletes, coaches, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, custodians, they remain strong. Each generation at Tech has a different experience. Their story is not the same as the one that preceded it or the one that will follow it, but it is uniquely theirs to hold forever.
Tech does have that, seems to have that special spirit and pride that comes from success in, let's be honest, mainly in your extracurriculars and especially in the sports programs. That's kept going by great coaches and great teachers who talk about it and are positive and want to pass things forward to the next generation. I think that's an important part of Tech's history. The problem with all that great sports history was that up until the 1970s, only half of the population in the school was having that success and all those great values that accompany extracurriculars. And in 1977, the lawsuit by a Tech student, Peg Brendan, a tennis player who wanted to play tennis but there was no team for her, she started the ball rolling. And that became a federal lawsuit that ended up in the federal legislation we know as Title IX, and it opened up a whole new opportunity avenue for half of the student body, and all the females at Tech started participating in sports, and something many of us knew a long time ago that it helps everybody. If sports is good for the boys, it's great for the girls, and Tech has carried on that tradition of providing equality in the area of athletic competition and every other extracurricular here at school. There were other programs too that were popular at Tech, and I just want to make sure I get this quote right from in Ottowan Shop. They even had in 1971 for the first time in the yearbook, Women's Liberation Joins Industrial Arts. So things were changing in all the classrooms at Tech, as well as on the sports field. Tech was bursting at the seams in 1970, and so a new school was built, and they named it Apollo, and we have that nice space capsule out in front heralding that great accomplishment on the moon, but also a new beginning in St. Cloud, an instantaneous rivalry that popped up with the school across town. So now we have Apollo and Tech. It seems like there's always something to be carried forward here at Tech, and as the current principal, Charlie Eisenreich, said, there's always something you carry forward when you leave Tech. Memory of a sporting team, a great teacher, extracurricular that happened, a classroom success, but there's always something you carry forward. And you kind of have that spirit of Tech staying with you. It's the Tech way, it's the Tiger spirit. And I think maybe that's the best way to say it. It's almost a reverence for walking the halls of Tech and being a part of Tech history.
If you were to ask me what is the face of Tech High School now, wow, that's a great question. I'd say it's people like me. And my family immigrated from Ethiopia in a refugee camp when I was 10 months old. And I attended class with students from Somalia and kids whose families have grown up here. We are more diverse than schools outside the St. Cloud area. And some people don't see Tech as a community, but that's exactly what we are, a community. We utilize our diversity, we take it and showcase it. At Tech, we're challenged to see the world in different perspectives. Really, I think Tech is more of a salad bowl rather than a melting pot. Everyone sticks out as individuals, although we're all still in it together. The other thing about Tech is that we uphold our own. Look at our arts, academics, and athletics. We've graduated Rhodes Scholars, National Merit Scholars, professional athletes, and Olympians. We take our standard and we go beyond. That shocks some people. The fact that Tech is 100 years old is pretty awesome. Not many people can say they've graduated as the 100th class. Tech's tradition is upholding success and excellence. It's like wearing a brand and showing it to the world. And we do that. We do that with pride. I'm really excited about the new Tech High School, and I won't even be going there, but my siblings will. And I'm excited for the new space of learning they'll have. Tech is not really defined by a building at all. It's the people inside who embody what we really value about the school. It's the teachers and the staffs and the students who strive to succeed. It's a sense of community and pride that we carry with us long after we've walked out the door. The thing about Tech is we don't disappoint.
In the fall of 2014, a group of 90 students, staff, parents, and community members first met to start developing the future of what St. Cloud area high school learners should be. And that future vision includes personalized learning, flexible spaces, and technology-rich environments, as well as programming for today's and tomorrow's global workforce. And along with the challenges of 100-year-old facilities at Tech, this helped shape the future of a new Tech high school. And in November of 2016, the voters approved a referendum to build a new high school. This lush site includes many environmental features that provide unique learning experiences for our students. It even has a trout stream. The school itself will house up to 1,600 students with expansion capabilities, up to 6 learning neighborhoods that provide for flexible programming and scheduling. It includes an 800-seat auditorium and theater with technology-embedded environments with an emphasis on career and technical education. It has a 4-station multi-purpose gymnasium along with athletic fields and a stadium. And yes, there will be dedicated space for Tech alumni functions, including Tech history and memorabilia. There will be a Tiger Den. What's exciting is what comes next, because there will always be another class of distinguished Tech alumni ready to carry on that tradition of excellence. Congratulations, Tech High School, on your 100-year anniversary.